Welcome to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself, a podcast where we explore the complexities of love, loss, and self-discovery. Join Charlie Perry and Marvin Speller when life's unexpected twists and turns come our way. It's easy to lose ourselves in the process, but what if losing ourselves is exactly what we need to find our true selves? Join us as we dive into the depths of human experience, sharing stories, insights, and conversations that will challenge, inspire, and maybe even help you find your way again. Sometimes you have to lose yourself. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome to Sometimes You Gotta Lose Yourself or Have to Lose Yourself. Let me make sure I get that right. I'm, I'm Charlie Perry. This is also uh, our our fabulous, outstanding, extraordinary person, Marvin David Speller. And we come to you every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Time and 4:30 uh, Pacific. And please, like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We truly appreciate it. And today we are going to have a conversation about man to woman, and it's about a poem I wrote. And so, without further ado, Marvin David Speller, what's going on, man?
Man, today is kind of crazy, but you know what? I feel really excited, man. This is being piped on our pages, right?
Yes,
Thank you, sir. Freaking amazing, man.
just gonna end up. Let me just put some here. Save that and check out Facebook for us. Yeah, so today was a very long day, but Wednesday is my podcast day. Officially
Okay.
now it is my podcast day. Every single podcast that I do is on Wednesday. So
Hey,
uh,
what's your favorite?
of course it's this one, I I just want our numbers to when it comes to episodes, so we can definitely, I mean, we've been consistent already, but
We've
I
been
want to make sure that when we talk about this podcast, um and about this time next year, and we're well over 300 episodes, I just can't wait to announce that. I don't know where we are at now, but if we consistently do like we've been doing, we are going to reach 300 in no time, bro.
yeah. I'm excited about that. I'm gonna kind of take things right here. So you made a poem, and that really excited me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to expound on this. And I was like, man, let's just go in on this. So I got something prepared for the viewing audience, or the listening audience. Whoever's viewing, thank you. My love goes out to you all. And I think Heather wanted to join us as well.
She told me she's going to be in the chat,
Yeah, she said she'll be in the chat.
yeah, giving us some conversation. And
Yep,
as we do every week, we appreciate her
right.
and her input and output. It's just glad she comes on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm really, like I said, man, I was really jazzed about this topic because you know what? People kind of approach this very delicately.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think sometimes it's good to go head on.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna do some reading and really, answer some questions along the way, but really gonna go into it. Okay. Um, have you ever heard of sacred masculine and sacred feminine?
I remember we talked about it a few months back, probably about
Okay.
6 months back. And, uh,
So, well, thank you. I didn't want to go too deep today with, everybody, but I did want to talk about this because I think there's some misconceptions out here what it is and how it applies to dating this day and time. Because really, it's all about the connectivity between men and women, and mostly it's kind of frayed. It's not just frayed; it's a little off. We've seen it, and there's multiple reasons behind that. Instead of just saying, "Well, men do this and women do this," it goes way more deeper because you know what? There's energies that intertwine between the both of us that sometimes we're really not aware of it and how whether we approach this in the right way that can healing or conducive to whatever, right? So I remember coming across sacred feminine and sacred masculine probably about 30 years ago.
mhm.
And I knew a little bit about that. And I went back to on my research to really rediscover what it is because I felt like I knew it, but maybe I didn't know it as much as I need to. So think about when I talk about something, I definitely want to do my research and really go all in on it. And I thought from my perspective that you know my late wife Kristen, she was the embodiment, and I talked about this in my book, and I went a little deeper into it in my audio version of my book.
Mhm.
But I talked about from my perspective, she was the epitome of what sacred feminine is. So let's take a step back. So when
Okay.
we talk about sacred feminine and sacred masculine, these are two energies, and we are, spiritual energies, right? So we all are spiritual beings having a physical experience, right? So that would be probably the closest someone can find to what it is. I mean, we can go into certain languages of where it comes from and which cultures go more deeper into it. I think about if you look at the Chinese culture, they have yin and yang, right?
Mhm.
Two complementary forces that exist. Not one is greater than the other, but they have perfect balance and harmony. You truly understand what yin and yang is all about. So,
What is the difference between both?
with the yin and yang,
Yeah,
or you talk about masculine and feminine.
yin, yin and yang. What would
So,
be the difference?
so one is like I would say, one is the container,
Hmm.
and the other one gets filled by the container.
Okay.
It's more or less like having a river, and you can have a river and a riverbed, right?
Hmm.
They both co-equally exist, and the flow with each is determined by many different things, right? That's what I think about yin and yang. Some people look at yin and yang as good and bad.
Hmm.
Sometimes that's the wrong way to look at what yin and yang is because it really is a complementary force. And when you start to think about that from that perspective, you start to think about everything is good or bad. And it's
Hmm.
way more extensive than that. That's just like when you think about masculine is attributed to what? Men, right?
Yes.
But it is predominantly within male, but you can have feminine and masculine traits within you. They're not gender exclusive, even though you may have a tendency of one having both, or one having one and one having another. Um, you know, so that's kind of what I was saying. So I'll read what I wrote down. So masculine and feminine energy are not just about men and women. Each person carries both. Masculine energy is connected to structure, direction, protection, clarity, discipline, leadership, and grounded presence. Feminine energy is connected to intuition, softness, creativity, emotion, nature, beauty, receptivity, and flow. One is not better than the other, they are complementary.
Mm.
The sacred masculine is not control, it is not ego, it is not domination. Sacred masculine energy says, I am grounded, I am present, I protect what I love, I keep my word, I create safety. The sacred feminine is not weakness, it is not helplessness, it's not chaos. Sacred feminine energy says, I'm open, I'm intuitive, I bring warmth, beauty, love, emotion, and life into space. A simple way to explain this: the masculine is like the riverbank, and the feminine is like the river. The riverbank gives shape and direction, but the river brings movement, beauty, and life. Without the riverbank, the water can flood everywhere. Without the river, the bank is dry. Both are needed.
Mm.
The idea is not new. We see in nature ancient spiritual traditions and old wisdom teachings in Taoism, that is yin and yang, two complementary forces that create harmony. In Hinduism, the symbolism, there is Shiva and Shakti,
Mm.
conscious and the force, stillness and movement. In nature, we see it as seed and soil, sun and moon, roots and flowers, inhale and exhale. So when we say masculine and feminine, we're really talking about spiritual pattern, structure, flow, action, receptivity, protection, nurture, direction, and intuition. Now, so where does this idea come where men should lead? This idea comes from nature, old survival patterns,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual traditions, and religious teachings. But we have to be careful with the word lead. Leadership does not mean control. And by mean, I am the man, so do what I say, that is a wounded masculine energy. Just like you have wounded feminine energies, these things clash.
Mm.
Sacred masculine energy leadership is service. So, service is protection, it is emotional maturity, it is consistency, it is the ability to create safety and direction without crushing the feminine spirit. A man leading in a sacred way does not silence a woman. He listens to her. He values her intuition. He honors her emotions. He protects her softness. He makes room for her safety. So the balance is not a man above, the woman below. The balance is masculine leads through grounded structure, a feminine leads with life giving wisdom. Both submit to love, which is the highest vibration on the universe, and the higher good of relationship. That this is the part modern dating misses, as we talked about many times. What modern dating is, so the modern dating scene can corrupt both energies. It can make men feel rejected, invisible, or desperate. It can make women feel guarded, overwhelmed, and like attention is power. Dating apps, social media, ghosting, breadcrumbing, mixed signals, and my way or the highway behavior can train people to protect themselves instead of opening themselves. So that goes back to masculine safety. And so, in my way or the highway behavior can train people to protect themselves instead of opening themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when feminine energy does not feel safe, it becomes guarded. It may become controlling, avoidant, suspicious, or emotional unavailable. But underneath that is usually a deeper question. Can I trust you? Are you consistent? Are you safe? Are you really here? Sometimes the question behind the question, or the thought behind the thought.
Mm.
This is why steady masculine matters. A steady masculine man does not force a woman into her feminine. There's no forcing. He creates the kind of emotional and spiritual safety where her feminine energy can relax. Her presence awakens her softness. His consistency awakens her trust. Her clarity, his clarity awakens her peace.
Hmm.
His protection awakens her openness. His devotion awakens her radiance. But this is mutual. Feminine energy also balances masculine energy. A woman in her sacred feminine can soften a man's hard edges. She brings warmth to his structure, beauty to his discipline, emotion to his logic, and meaning to his mission. So the healed relationship is not about dominance, it's about
Mhm.
harmony. Wounded masculine says, I need to control to feel powerful. Sacred masculine says, I am powerful because I am grounded. Wounded feminine says, I need control because I do not feel safe. Notice we've used that word safe a lot.
Mhm.
Okay. Sacred feminine said, I can soften because I trust myself and I trust what is safe. That is the sacred exchange. A man does not lead by demanding submission. He leads by becoming trustworthy. A woman does not soften by abandoning herself. She softens when she feels honored, respected, cherished, and safe.
Mm.
So when we talk about sacred masculine and sacred feminine, we're not talking about outdated roles. We're talking about divine balance. We are talking about the kind of love where strength protects softness and softness gives strength meaning. This is the beauty of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine. Neither one is complete without each other.
Mm.
The masculine creates the container, the feminine fills it with life. And when both are healed, love stops feeling like a battlefield and starts feeling like a sanctuary. So that's that's what I wanted to read what I put together about them both to really unpack what's out there.
Yeah.
Because you hear these things out here, well, what is this and what is that? And you wonder why some people get to a certain place, right?
Mhm.
And so they get there based on who is what, because a a wounded masculine is no good for a sacred feminine.
Mhm.
Not unless they are self-aware of that. Not unless they're self-aware of what it is and what they're doing, and knowing where they're going
Mm.
with their own healing. But a lot of times when you have a wounded masculine, they view masculine as dominance. You know, when you talk about protection, protection is having themselves
Mm.
in balance for themselves and others. And so when you have that, you won't have these things from, uh, I would say, a wounded feminine, because there's some things about accountability,
Yeah.
which a sacred masculine would expect, because they expect it first for themselves and that is what they project. So, it really is a congruent relationship between both. They all start out with really just being at a place of peace, peace and love. Peace and love is what is the glue to both from a healed perspective, not from a unhealed perspective.
Yeah. It's sometimes, I mean, when you look at that as, and now we don't want to say that relationships are simplex, lack of a better word. Everything needs some work, right? We all need some kind of work, And
The work in a relationship is the work on you.
hmm
I mean,
I'm glad you
quite
said
frankly,
that.
it is the work on and in you.
Yeah.
Because most often, what you get in life is a mass reflection of what's inside of you, what's
hmm
brewing, whether it's something that's positive or not so positive.
Yeah. Like
You
that.
know, this is why we talked before about how you start your day
hmm
and the intentions you put around that.
All right. Let's see. Make sure that reading the poem that I wrote. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing things correctly here. So
Okay.
now, mind you, when I wrote this poem, I was in a lot of directions. I was in my present state. I was in my past state, and I was in a future state, right?
Okay.
And it all just came together, and but it didn't take me long to write this. What I'm getting at is that when things come so quickly like that, within just a couple of minutes of writing something like this, um, I always say that's organic and true feelings when it just comes real quick, and
Hmm.
and that's what happened with this. Um, we got Heather says, "Let baggage go." Let me just read it up here. Let baggage go. Healed, then you can be the best version of yourself to bring positive to others.
I agree with that, and I'll think about something um, while you're doing it. I'm going to read something after I say what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm going to read what she sent me earlier. Um, Hold on, let me get to it. So there's something I pulled out of my head from what I read from 30 some years ago.
hmm
And Heather, I'm going to embarrass you. So she was telling me about her dynamic with her amazing husband.
hmm
So, you know, talking about harmony and perfect balance. And she said, I waited a long time for someone like him. I'm so happy my higher power brought him to me. Funny, we knew each other for 10 years before we got together.
hmm
And then said we worked together. She said there are no coincidences. It happens when it's supposed to and happens divinely. We
hmm
just made 17 years together, and out of
Oh,
those 17 years, which is
very
amazing, so
nice.
let's give her a clap for that.
Yeah.
Um, seven
Congratulations.
years married on Monday the 15th, so happy anniversary, Heather.
hmm
Um,
Happy anniversary.
and there is something I forgot, and by her saying that,
hmm
it really jogged my memory. And when I explained to her, and I will explain it here, Heather, I call that etherical seeding.
mm
So a lot of times when we push intentions out to the
Yep.
universe, we are all connected by being energy beings, right? So you never know where you could. Sometimes you could consciously plant something somewhere, or you could be next to someone you etherically go from there, right? Which is pretty freaking amazing. But you guys knew each other for 10 years, and I would say a lot of times the seeding purpose of, and it could be done something as simple as not taking a seat and dropping on someone's hair. It could be a conversation. It could be like a look. It could be many different things where that etherical seeding is out there. And then because you had put it out in the universe, this is what you were looking for.
Hmm.
This is where some things grew from. So, Heather, this is what I was talking about by etherical seeding. So I totally, totally forgot that. And I remember by you saying that. But think about some people who've known each other for so long and they've got great relationships, and you guys met by just, well, we knew each other. And then all of a sudden, one day, something turned on and you all clicked. And it
Yep.
was magic ever since. You
It,
understand that?
yeah, I do because it
Is that happened to you, right, Charlie?
yeah, yep. And
Okay.
it's the craziest thing is that you couldn't, I, couldn't understand what was missing that we couldn't see something. Um, as far as compatible people, and just like, why didn't we see that? What was wrong with us? What was we looking for that we missed something that's so obvious now?
Yeah, it goes back to what we've always said, right? You can have the right conditions
Hmm.
create the perfect condition, right?
Yep,
So you guys had a right condition, right?
yep,
And that right condition grew into a perfect condition.
true.
Sometimes you may not know how,
Hmm.
but it just did. And I think about with you, Charlie,
Yep.
I mean, 30 some years, that should be commended. Um, and have the 17 years, you guys knew each other, this thing grew. This is what happened. This is what
Hmm.
happened. It's like that stuff is magical. It
Yeah.
really is. You
It,
know, it's I'm really happy. So, how long did you know your wife before you guys started
uh,
growing?
about 10 years prior.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, about 10 years. Um,
And the right condition created where you guys started liking each other, right?
yeah. Hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It was all right. It and complex too because it as right as it was, you start thinking. You have to think about, man. I waited for this opportunity. We waited for this opportunity, and it's here. But it's complex situations going on, and it's like, whether we push forward or don't we? And so we push forward to deal with it. And uh, and now here we are, several decades later, and we're still together. So
Right.
I
Which
get
is
it.
this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? These things that you put out there and someone had to receive it, right?
Yeah.
And which was your wife. I just those things put make me have goosebumps, man, because I've
Hmm.
seen it, and it's magical, right? And you don't know what it is, but it's like it's it's magical. Looks like Heather wants to say something.
Yeah. She want to go on?
Yes.
Okay. Lights,
So,
camera, action.
hi everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, so I just wanted to share a beautiful part of my story.
Okay.
Um, I worked with my husband for 10 years,
That.
and he was with a close friend of mine for years, on and off.
Mm-hmm.
They dated, and things just didn't work out for them. There was um, attributes about her that he didn't value,
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't have custody of her children.
Right.
But there's one thing, when we met 10 years later, he was single. I had been single for 3 years. Was not looking for anybody at that point. To be honest, I was focused on me and my son.
Mm-hmm.
And, after we got together and we dated for over a year
Mm-hmm.
before we introduced our children to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband said, "You know what I loved about you even before we were together?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "What was that?" And he said, "It was the level of love that you shown. I had the most utmost respect for you as a woman
Mm-hmm.
because you respected yourself.
Boom.
You were not out there trying to, like, dress, for lack of a better word, like hoochie to get men's attention.
Mhm.
You were just you,
Right.
and you respected yourself, and you demanded respect from everybody. So I was a manager,
Right.
and he's like, you just commanded respect, but not in a bitchy way.
Mhm.
Okay.
You were always respectful of everybody that you dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
but the way you held yourself
Mm-hmm.
made me respect you and admire you. And you are an amazing mom. He watched, because we worked together for 10 years. So
Right.
he saw the unfolding of my life, right?
Of course.
And he's like, but you never missed a beat.
Of course.
I love it.
And that's kind of what we've been talking about here. It's like,
I didn't have to, search or seek man's attention.
no,
Mhm.
you
That's
did.
not that's not what I was doing. I was
Of course.
growing myself as a woman, as a
Right.
mom, as an individual. And he said, I found that so attractive about you.
You had got to the healed place and all the things you did and how he was made it a perfect harmony. It's that simple.
Hmm.
And this is what, you know, this is the stuff.
He's
You
my
know,
rock.
I love to hear that.
Good.
He is my rock. He is my best friend. And like I told you earlier, Marvin, I wish I met him sooner so I could love him longer.
But you never know if you were at where you were at when you guys met, it may not have worked out the way you think it would.
Correct.
So
Mhm.
And I am
divine timing is always
divine timing.
is
It
always
was
everything.
him and I talk about this all the time. 17 years together, 7 years married.
Hmm.
And he's like, "Well, I wish I met you when we first started working together." And I said, "But it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
True.
saying. For neither one of you all, probably.
It might
Victoria
not have worked out."
Victoria J says timing is everything. She
Mhm.
also mentions that yes, we have to grow. She mentioned beautiful, and she also initially started out with hate family. So here we are at you
Hey,
know, we all have that faith. We all are in an agreement to timing and growth. And I think we all agree that those
growth.
things need to happen.
Well, growth is important, but being healed is probably equally, if not more, important because
What do you
you
mean healed? Like you
you could
talking about knowledge?
you could be a non-healed, you could be a wounded masculine, and you got all these traits that are very destructive um, to the feminine energy.
Mm,
And same thing with wounded feminine, because you hear the things that come up, right?
yeah.
Um, they may not know how to receive because of what they have been used to, and they've lost that trust piece. And then so you see some very destructive things from a wounded feminine. But subsequently, a wounded masculine has created a lot of this stuff. And so you see these things and you're like, okay, well, yeah, there's things you got to have, right? But a lot of this stuff comes from being out of harmony. And a lot of times they're out of harmony with themselves. Now, how do you bring about trust or someone not saying my way or the highway, or I've got all these lists of things and all that? The container of trust gets to be created.
Yeah. Victoria J says that's what I mean about growth and healing is growth. Growth is healing. Which I agree. It's somebody can be or some person can be for a lifetime unhealed, right? And that's all they know, and that's all they eat.
Wait a minute, only if they're aware. Because they may think there's something else. Or maybe the world has created a condition where they think that unhealed is healed. Because you think about it, most people wouldn't want to go out here to harm anybody, right? Some people do, most people won't, right? And so when somebody thinks, like, I'll give you an example. You can have a man who feels like he wants to control and dominate. He may feel like he's healed.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very unhealed trait of the sacred masculine.
I hear you. I feel you on that.
But you've got to have some self-awareness there in order to get to a place where it's starting to be healed, or you're working on it. Some people would say, right? Mm-hmm. But only if you have that self-awareness, right?
I agree with you, Marvin.
I want to read this. I want to read the first verse of my poem and see where it leads us. Okay.
Okay.
Unless you miss it. Are you missing something or need to add something? Marvin?
You telling me?
Yeah, what we were talking about.
Oh, I got one more thing to add. I'm pull it up, but go ahead, man.
Okay. One more comment. So true, but have to. Victoria J says, so true, but you have to self-awareness and you will know. Okay. But yeah, that's it.
That's what I was just saying.
That's what you basically were saying.
Yeah, you got to have this self-awareness. Yeah. So thank you, Victoria.
All right. Man to woman, listen and learn that fire and desire can only come from what is inside your heart. Sometimes people are heartless, no feelings is truly their best. Once someone like that shows you who they are, instantly identify this, or it's all a waste of time, yours and mine. Man to woman, I just wanted to know you for you. What I mean is I had a plan to be your man. Love would have been everlasting, but your love kept on passing me by. Right? And
that's what you wrote, correct?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, you with pen to paper is beyond incredible, brother.
Thank you.
That was the reason why I asked you many years ago, Charlie, please write a poem, because you do amazing work, and the world is a better place by which you put pen to paper, because it's well thought of, it's creative, it's knowledgeable, and it's soul penetrating.
Thank you. It means a lot, because I know how deep you are, how sincere you are, and So coming from you, it truly means.
No, I pay attention. I mean, it's like I love these things, and this is this is one of the things that you do so great, and I think we all have our gifts, right? And that definitely is one of yours, man.
Thank you.
I'm
Big
gonna read. I'm gonna read love. We talked many times about the frequency of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do a little bit of digging about how love weaves into um, feminine and masculine energies. I had a thought of what it was, but I wanted to dig a little deeper. So, the frequency of love is the bridge that weaves sacred masculine and sacred feminine together. Without love, masculine energy can become control. Without love, feminine energy can become manipulative or emotional chaos. But when love is present, both energies rise to the highest form. Love turns masculine strength into protection. Without love, strength can become dominance. But with love, masculine energy says, I am strong so I can feel safe, not so I can overpower you. Love turns feminine softness into trust. Without love, softness can be dangerous. But with love, feminine energy says, I can open here, I can receive here, I can be vulnerable without losing myself. The frequency of love is what keeps both energies sacred. It tells the masculine, lead but do not control. It taps the feminine energy, but do not abandon yourself. It tells both protect the connection, not the ego. This is when weaving happens. The masculine brings structure, safety, direction, and steadiness. The feminine brings warmth, intuition, beauty, emotion, flow. Love moves the two, between them like a thread. So, this is why love is the highest frequency in the conversation, in the connection, because love purifies both energies.
Victoria J says, I love to hear others' thoughts. It gives me something to think about all the time. It helps me work on myself if I'm struggling with something.
That's great.
Yeah. Um, the You talked about what you just mentioned, right?
Which part?
Um, about just being um, on the same page, and what I wanted to, just by you saying that, I remember a verse on this poem, and it talks about um, it just talks about um, um, that the man is asking for the woman to come in his direction, come this direction for a lot of reasons, because I think it would help them out as a couple, right? And he's saying restart, restart. And after so many times of saying restart, rethink it. You like to mention about reframe, right? So a man is telling a woman to restart. I need you to restart. Think about what you're doing that's causing maybe something in our relationship. Um, and before he shuts down, right?
Okay.
There's so many things you can ask for and it doesn't get paid attention to, right? Either male or female,
hmm
constantly asking, restart. Let's do this over
I
together.
would I would say with that there's some imbalance if you got to constantly do that.
Okay. On whose part?
Depends. I mean, you gotta have that discovery. You really got to have that discovery. Is are the things that you each desire, are you fulfilled from that first with yourself or from the other person?
Mhm.
Because really, you can always trace it back to one or another. I'll give you an example. I'm gonna read this last paragraph.
Okay.
Hold on. A man can be masculine, but if he does not have love, he may become harsh. A woman can be feminine, but she does not have love. She may become seductive without being sincere, soft without being loyal, emotional without being accountable. Love brings the sacred back in. It makes the masculine become compassionate. It makes the feminine more trusting. It makes leadership feel like service. It makes surrender feel like safety. It makes passion feel like devotion. It makes intimacy feel like home. So I would say it's like this: a frequency of love is a divine current that allows masculine and feminine energies to say competing and start harmonizing. So that's what I'm saying. So you have a little bit of that competing there and not harmonizing.
Mm.
So
Um, I some just do you think love? All right. Do you think you can have hate and love in a relationship?
depends on what you want out of the relationship. If you're looking for harmony, hell no.
All right.
I mean,
So
absolutely not. Because that's not a harmonious frequency. And if it is, I would love the example.
mhm. All right, good, good. I'm just throwing things out there. That's what we do here on Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself.
Sometimes you got, and I have to tell you, I have lost myself in this thing. I've lost myself in this everything we talked about today. I lost myself in that because I'm somebody who had I had this great deal of sacred feminine and masculine energies connected through love, right?
Hmm.
And that ripped itself apart through her death. And then, you know, all these things I went through, I was like, okay, I need to discover more of this. And some of this discovery was the amount of hurt and pain I went through and being wounded, learning and discovering, having self discovery on that. And at times, attracting that and me being a mirror of that. But towards that helped me be better for the future
Hmm.
because I went through someone who had it, somebody that was extremely wounded and came out on the other side with a level of understanding and overstanding this whole thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So
Yes, it does.
made me very prime for what I wanted to be and where I wanted to go in life.
Heather says true love is a dance of respect, honesty, loyalty, and being each other's rock, rock voice of reason, not control of. It's not about control. It's about dual respect and a constant give and take with respect to each other and a true, honest communication. Opening yourself up, opening yourself up, and willing to be humble. And that's pretty much that. That sums up everything that you said tonight. Every single thing, right?
Absolutely, it's everything, and that's why I say I love the things that she had talked about before, and just hearing it because this is what I was putting out today to everybody of what it is, and you've got so many great examples. Both of you all are great examples of that, right?
Hmm.
And I'm really feeling and starting to understand this more over time. So you start to really conceptualize this, right? And so,
Mhm.
right, what she just said was a perfect example of everything I talked about, and having that happen in real time. That's just beyond beautiful.
Yeah.
And Charlie, you've got the same stinking example, man. I'm sure you could have wrote the same thing that Heather was talking about.
Mhm.
Nobody's talking about dominance. No one's talking about control. No one's talking about all these unhealed attributes that happens on both sides. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about the harmony that exists. That's what it is. It's talk about the harmony that exists.
Um, and Victoria J, who also has a very um, uh, uh, I don't want to say, she has a compatible and outstanding marriage. So she says yes, Heather. So what I like about that, there's all kinds of agreement. And Marvin, you just pointed out, what Heather has, I have. I also want to mention you you had it too in your marriage. Exactly what we're talking about,
Of
right?
course, of course.
It was uh, 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 everything you guys did in my company in my presence was basically understanding and working, doing things as a team, and that's from the littlest things to the complex things. Um, Having conversations with you, and then also having conversation with Kristen. Um, and believe it or not, I mentioned Kristen today on Victoria J's interview of me earlier today. You know,
Mm.
in explaining why songwriting was important to me, and it was your beautiful wife. And
Yeah, you know that. Hmm. See, this is where it forced me to go back to this because um, you're right. You know, one thing I had, which is the epitome of sacred feminine, and all the
mhm,
things we talked about today, but really just kind of just put in a bucket here, right?
sure.
So, what a man, or let's say sacred masculine man, which I received, was one of the highest forms of receivership of that is genuine burning desire.
Mm,
Okay, that's by me making her feel safe. Now let's go back. You think about all the things that were happening in her life.
yes.
Now with ease, the one thing that I projected was a love of ease and peace without control.
Mm,
And what I received was genuine burning desire. Someone that wanted me, desired me, supported me, appreciated my whole being. And I
mhm.
shared that with you both many times. You know, Heather, you know the stories. You were close to Kristen.
Yeah,
So, man,
and I'm just uh, I'm just glad you guys worked on it. It could have very easily, your relationship could have very easily ended as soon as it started,
probably,
and
probably.
for a lot of reasons, geographically,
Yeah,
uh,
geographically.
so
I was across the country, brother.
mhm,
You know?
but it didn't. And what do you think you said or she said to keep you guys connected? What was it?
Well, let's just go here since you're bringing it up.
Yep.
Um, and thank you for bringing it up. I hope people have an opportunity to hear and listen. You know, she had, as much as a beautiful person she was in many ways a wounded feminine.
Hmm.
She exhibited that. But remember,
Yep.
we have both energies in us. And I didn't come from that perspective.
Okay.
So I came with, I mean, really a lot of peace, and I made sure the things by paying attention,
Yeah.
the things that wouldn't work for her. So when you talk about the wounded masculine traits of trying to control, all these certain things of control, um, lack of kindness. I knew those traits wouldn't work, and I also knew they wouldn't work for me either.
Okay.
Right? So it wasn't like I was out to try to impress her. What it was, and this is a damn good question, Charlie. What it was not doing the things that could trigger those responses that made her wounded, a wounded feminine, which in some way she created herself, but the environment that she was in created the wounded feminine. So I was not going to contribute to that part because I was operating in my sacred masculine. So, there was plenty of times where from that container of her being a wounded feminine. And so here's the thing about it. Just because somebody is wounded feminine does not mean a masculine, a sacred masculine should not hold a wounded feminine accountable, which I did.
Yeah.
There was we would laugh about this for years. I think Heather, you know this story. She told me one time, she said, "Oh yeah, you're probably like number 10 on my list." And I told her, I said, and I told her respectfully, from a sacred masculine perspective, I said, "Listen, I understand all you're going through and all this other stuff, but I'm not number 10 on nobody's list." And I let that be known. It wasn't of malice or hate, but it was me holding her accountable.
Yeah.
That's the thing about a masculine man. He will not allow himself to be treated a certain way because a wounded feminine is projecting that onto him. Doesn't mean you need to be mean or cruel or anything. You just understand that perspective. And so while there was harmony, that's something to tolerate that would have put us out of harmony. Because you could have had a whole bunch of things flying back and forth.
Yeah.
So I think about that when I think about this whole thing about what modern dating is and all that. You have to start most of the time with men approaching things a certain way. Being who you say you are. If you say you're going to call, make sure you call her. Making sure you're doing all the things as a masculine, sacred masculine. You have to do the things you're supposed to do. But it doesn't mean one of those things is to tolerate wounded feminine's behavior. And then you watch the magic grow. I mean, really. But that was a damn good question, Charlie. Any other questions?
Let's see. Yeah, one more. I don't need to. Go ahead. Let me just look for something. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let me see.
Heather made a statement. Kristen was willing to heal and move forward and stay positive. Yeah, of course. I think we healed each other because maybe there were some ways I wasn't a healed masculine. So I think that mutual dance from an understanding where we were going and us being true to our word. So, I think about, here's a healed trait. When you have a woman that's into you,
Yeah.
and it seems plainly obvious, right? And not leading someone on with inconsistency. So I think this is a non-healed perspective on both energies, not the consistency part. Not when someone reaches out, well, I'm gonna wait a long time before I get back to them or something. You know, there's you really have to. I would say for anybody wants to go out here and all, you have to understand what it is and where you're going. And there's nothing wrong with projecting that. There's nothing wrong with holding that place, or putting it out there and letting people, you know. And one of the main traits of a sacred masculine is that he is not afraid to let it be known how he feels.
Hmm.
You know, where, you know, what I feel about this and I feel about it, which is great. A wounded masculine is fearful of a wounded feminine, that which happens, right, to wounded folks, right, where they got this crazy stuff. People say love bombing and all this stuff, and I say to myself, what the hell, man? Maybe there needs to be more love bombing,
Hmm.
where people feel like, you know what, I'm being pursued, I'm being desired, I'm being wanted, and I want to hear this, right? Everybody really, honestly, instead of this closed off, damaged mentality out here, there's nothing wrong with that. Lead with love.
Heather wants to speak on something. So
Come on in.
yeah.
So, speaking or piggybacking on what you're saying, Marvin, is my experience with my husband
Hmm.
when it was meant to be, there was no chase to be had.
Yep.
I didn't have to chase him, he didn't have to chase me. It
Correct.
flowed naturally with no obstacles, no hurdles.
Yep.
And my experience in life is if there's blocks or there's hurdles, the universe is telling you it's not meant to be. So at that point, I think people need to say stop, take a step back, and reevaluate the situation.
Right.
Because what's meant to be, and I'm sure Charlie and you can attest to this in life, when it's meant to be, there's no roadblock. It just flows, and it flows perfectly. When
Flows with
it's
ease.
aligned, it's aligned.
Yeah, flow with ease. Love it.
There should be no hurdle. When you get those blockages, for anybody who's listening, whether it's relationship wise, business wise, um, within your own family, if you get in that block, step back. Stop yourself. Don't push it. Stop back and say, why isn't this working?
And
Look into yourself, reevaluate the situation because there's a reason. When I met my husband, now I knew him for 10 years prior. We were never together. I was in a relationship, he was in a relationship. It wasn't meant to be at that time.
Time.
But
well, you may not. You probably back then you guys didn't look at each other like that.
we did not. No, absolutely not. I was in a committed relationship. I was engaged. He was in a relationship. Um, that wasn't something I even gave any thought to be honest with you.
True.
But 10 years later, life changed.
Hmm.
And we, came upon each other again at work. And he was like, hey,
Good
you want
time.
to go for coffee?
Good
Hmm.
time.
And I was like, yeah, great. It was timing. And we talk about this to each other all the time, like, why couldn't I have met you sooner?
I know. You
Our
know,
life would have been so different, but it's like I tell my husband, Frank, his name is Frank, it wasn't meant to be at that time.
No, true. And
Because maybe we wouldn't have appreciated each other as much as we
that's a
do
good
now.
point. That's a great point. I love that. Yeah, you may not have appreciated each other. I fully believe in this timing thing. I fully believe that things will align perfectly. I
yeah,
fully.
timing is when you meet somebody, right? You guys meet, things happen, um, and you may it may be a question, just like you said, I wish we had met sooner. But when you talk about sooner, you think of all the things that happen in your life. One, the birth of your son, the birth of his child,
Yes,
uh, and so if you had met sooner, just the faith of the child being born may not have happened.
Yeah,
So you think about the blessings that you have, in a child
absolutely.
is boom, it's priceless,
You
and
know,
so meeting sooner uh, was definitely something that wasn't part of the fate,
you know what I say to my husband is he had a son, I had a son. When we came together and became a couple, and that was a year in the making, right? Because I
mhm.
was very um, standoffish on my part.
Yeah. See that?
Um,
Wait a minute. Can you say that again?
I was standoffish on my part.
Wait a minute.
Mm.
Say that one more time, sis. Say that. So you weren't the
I
best
would,
version of yourself. You weren't the best version of yourself then, but when you guys got together, you were. That's the
yes,
main point I've been saying. It's like
Yeah,
I was standoffish because I didn't trust, because I had been hurt.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Um, but the one thing when we got together and we decided we're gonna move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
We each had a child. He had a boy, I had a boy, and I said, "There's only one way we're gonna do this.
hmm
It's not gonna be your child, my child. It's gonna be our kids.
yeah, yeah,
It's not. I know, like my stepson had a mom, my son had a dad,
Right.
yeah.
but there was no reason for us not to be a family. I didn't need to be my stepson's mom, but I needed to be a good person in his life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And
And
you got
you know what? That grew.
that's amazing.
I've had I don't even call him my stepson. When I tell people I have kids, I have two boys.
Mm,
I
He's
love
not my stepson, he's my son.
yeah,
I love that.
Because I've had him since he was 11 years old, and now he's going to be 29.
very nice.
And
Right.
he's my boy.
Yeah,
Right.
it's you know,
So
I love when blended families come together.
yeah, I
You
love it.
just have to treat people with respect. And I have heard from so many blended families where, oh, his kid does this, her kid does that. And I'm like, whoa, back it up. You decided to become a blended family.
Right.
Stop
Um,
nitpicking the child.
we have a few more minutes, but I'm gonna pull a couple cards before we go,
Okay?
as I
Okay,
always do.
while you're doing that, I'm gonna acknowledge Victoria J saying great conversation,
Thank you,
guys. And
Victoria.
I have. She said she has to run, but she will tune in to the replay, which she does.
Thank
Right.
you. Appreciate that, Victoria. All right, let's pull these cards and get going.
hmm
We got a minute each, okay?
Yep.
Okay?
All right. Something that energizes you, uh, and lessons you've learned this year.
Um, what energizes me is is first and foremost is my grandchildren when they come over. I truly get energized. It's different. They whether it's no matter what I'm feeling, they energize me in a positive way. And one thing I learned this year is to grab a hold of things that I want to do, even if it's perceived to be selfish, get them done. And so that's one thing that I learned this year, and that goes from songwriting and so on. So
Love to hear everything you said, brother.
yeah.
Okay, Heather, go ahead.
All right. So I agree with Charlie.
Now I want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to hear. I don't want you to repeat what he said.
No, what energizes me is my grandchildren.
Okay,
They're innocent. They're full of life.
that they are right.
They speak the truth,
Mhm.
You know
Yeah.
about
right?
that, right?
I
You know about
mean,
that, right?
It's
even
amazing.
on my hardest days, they bring true life to me
Yeah.
and new perspective.
Okay, thank you.
They really do. Um,
Okay,
and what was the second part?
lesson
What you
you
learned
learned.
this year?
Lesson you learned this year.
You know what I learned this year, and I'm still learning, is to set boundaries,
Okay,
to not be a people pleaser.
Mm.
okay,
That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm working on,
mm, okay,
is to not say yes to everybody, to respect my boundaries, respect theirs, um, and learn when to say no.
okay. Cool. All right, I guess my turn. Um, there's three things that really energize me. Right.
Mhm.
First off, I
You
got
got
so
one
many.
minute, right?
No, 1 minute. I'm gonna get to it. I'm not gonna
No
be. I'm not
pressure.
gonna be long-winded like you guys were.
No pressure.
So, yeah, I appreciate the conversations we always have on and off camera. So
Mhm.
that energizes me big time. Because, like Heather said, you guys are truthful, upfront, and honest, and I appreciate that. Um, and I get these messages from people that's like that really energize me more than you guys can ever imagine. Lessons I learned this year. Oh gosh, take note of what's around you and respond accordingly.
Mm.
That's my lesson for the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I like that.
That's awesome.
thank you.
I do like that. The I'm glad that we for one I posted something. Marvin read it, which led to this podcast tonight. And so the conversation has truly got people involved. Um, it's truly we mentioned things that we can all relate to.
This was a spirited conversation. My
Yeah,
goodness,
yeah, yeah. And
we unpacked it.
now I'm anticipating what the clips are going to be. Right?
Yeah.
What is StreamYard going to produce out of this conversation we had? And what did they think was so relevant um, throughout this podcast that it captured, things that we were mentioning. So that's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see that after we're done. I definitely will post them immediately once they download to my computer. And
Okay.
so, but nice.
You know, this will be. I don't know how far back you can go, but this will be something that should be on Spotify on our page because it's very impactful.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, so we're gonna wrap this up, and I think that you know, this conversation, this podcast definitely gets 5 stars in my from me, and I truly glad that we talked about it. Nice.
We were supposed to have another guest on today.
Yeah, did I mention that?
Yeah, Heather had a special guest.
Mm. Oh, well, someone that was stage.
She didn't bring on a special guest this time.
No, she didn't. She didn't. I hope the kid's not duct tape in the corners.
No. Actually, thankfully, he has relaxed and
Yeah.
he's unwinding and he
Yeah.
wasn't in the background. So,
That's good.
That's great. That's great. So
but, yeah, I mean, he's quite the character. So,
That's good.
if he came on board, you would laugh for sure.
Yeah, I did think. I am pretty sure of that. Favorite
My
podcast.
husband is keeping him under wraps so I could do this call.
That's
oh,
it.
nice.
So, sometimes the iPad does wonders, right?
That's true.
So he just graduated pre-K
No,
and he got 2 awards. One
Yeah.
award was for the best handwriting and the other was for the best dancer.
Wow.
awesome.
I
He
remember.
loves music.
That's great.
And the one singer he loves is Elvis.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So I think
Nice.
he's an old soul.
Most likely.
I like the Elvis Presley stories. You know,
His gospel music is what my grandson loves.
Wow.
yeah, it's,
No.
there's an audio book out there that I truly enjoyed listening to. Can't think of the title other than that. I would say it, but
Yeah.
real
We,
interesting.
ac-
How
we actually went to Graceland and toured, and I bought a bunch of books. But his music, it's funny, my grandson, it's not all the popular music, that everyone hears,
Mhm.
blue suede shoes and whatnot.
Hmm.
It's the gospel music that my grandson connects with.
yeah.
That's great.
Oh,
Love to hear
people forget that Elvis was a country boy.
He was a country and a gospel. That's where he got his start.
Yeah,
Yep.
and especially there where he was born and raised, and
Hmm.
that's a huge part of the town,
Hmm.
so.
All
But
right.
that's it. That's
Let's see. Next week's going to be as impactful. We appreciate everyone checking in. We send nothing but love.
exactly.
Love to you all.
Yes, and back at you. Love you, and Marvin. Thank you. Enjoy your night. Love you too, and we will be here every single week for you, one way or another. And if I'm still, if for one reason or another, let's just say I can't make it, right? I will still make sure this podcast is announced. Marvin will definitely do the show, and I will actually click on the show and make sure that it runs properly as I become the director in the background. So every week we're going to bring you something, even if it's a replay of something that we already done. But I just want to put that out there to the audience that we will always be here. And the reason why we're always here is because there may be an opportunity or there may be a time that you want to tell you want to say something, or there's sometimes you have to lose yourself. We want to make sure that we're available for you to share anything that you want to get off your chest. And it's Wednesday, every night, we will be here for you.
Mr. Charlie, you
Yeah.
will always be here.
Thank you. Thank you. And we definitely got to meet up so I can
Yes.
buy you a coffee, and
We need a coffee date, bud.
yes, yes. So we're gonna do that. Um, all right, Marvin Speller, you be good now, and
I'll try. I will try. I
and
Love you, Marvin.
love you too, sis.
yes, Heather, have a great, great day, and enjoy East or West Beach.
You guys too.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
All right, let's play our nice little outro.
That's right.
Uh, I've been doing it manually.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
because I have to delete the video in our intro. So, all right, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Let's close with this nice video. Love you, man.
Love you, brother.
Welcome to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself, a podcast where we explore the complexities of love, loss, and self-discovery. Join Charlie Perry and Marvin Speller when life's unexpected twists and turns come our way. It's easy to lose ourselves in the process, but what if losing ourselves is exactly what we need to find our true selves? Join us as we dive into the depths of human experience, sharing stories, insights, and conversations that will challenge, inspire, and maybe even help you find your way again. Sometimes you have to lose yourself. Let's get started.